Hello. It's been a long time since I made a video, but finally had the courage to make one, so it's going to be just some poems I've been reading, interesting stuff I found the last few months, and it's going to be in chronological order technically, but it's quite broad. Alright, so first one here, I think I've mentioned before on this channel, but it's Laments by Jan Kochanowski, which I can only imagine I'm saying incorrectly. And the Laments is what he wrote after his daughter died. I believe she was only 2.5 years old. His youngest daughter. This guy is actually younger than Shakespeare. No, older than Shakespeare. He was contemporary with Ronsard and Du Bellay. And so that kind of gives you an idea of the time period he was writing in, and I think it's very impressive. And this is Lament number 14. And actually, if it's interesting to you, this was partially translated by Seamus Heaney and then a guy named Stanislav Baranchak. Lament number 14. Where is that gate for grief which long ago let Orpheus enter the dark realm below in search of his lost love? My loss is such that I would go as far and do as much where Charon pulls the flood. While his boat moves thronged with pale shades, he lands in cypress groves. And you, my lovely lute, do not desert your singer now. Now we must both assert our rights before stern Pluto. Soften him with songs and tears until his own eyes swim and he relents, and lets my dear girl go and come to my embrace and end my woe. Which won't mean he'll have lost her were all his. If fruit's not ripe, you wait until it is. Yet is this God so heartless that he can turn a deaf ear to a despairing man? If that is so, earth won't see me again. I'll yield my own soul, find peace, and remain. One other thing I want to read is the dedication he gives. And it's nice too. This one also has the Polish, you can see. To Ursula Kochanowski, a delightful, sweet-natured, uncommonly gifted child, who, having shown herself possessed of every maidenly virtue, suddenly, without warning, died in her early unripe years, to the great unbearable grief of her parents. Her stricken father, Jan Kochanowski, has written this work in tears for his dearest daughter. You are no more, my Ursula. So that's Laments. And then next we have another book I got recently, which is just absolutely excellent to read. The Collected Haiku of Yosa Buson, who is one of the 4 haiku masters of Japanese. There's Basho, there's Buson, Isa, and then Masaoka Shiki, who is the final one. He's in the 1900s. He was friends with Soseki. But Buson here was roughly contemporary with Rousseau, from 1716 to 1783, just to give you an idea. I'll just read you 2 of his haiku that I really like, but there's a bunch in here. This is by Copper Canyon Press, published. This is Peach Blossoms. Eating and sleeping, I wouldn't mind turning into a cow. The peach trees are in bloom. And I just want to read one other one that I thought was really nice. In the mist, a great foreign ship glides past the harbor without stopping. Yeah, I really underappreciated haiku for a while, but I cured myself of my ignorance. And then next we have Edvard Kocbek, Nothing is Lost. He's a Slovenian poet. He actually went to the same university as Slavoj Žižek, of course a few years apart. But he has a very interesting life. He was born in 1904, and he was a Christian communist when he was in school. But then by the time the communists got in power, this guy wasn't communist enough. He wrote a journal of World War II where he criticized the communist actions, and he was blacklisted. He was wiretapped. He has an interesting poem online about being wiretapped, so you can look into that if you like this guy. Another good thing about this one is that it has the original Slovenian. And this one's called Moonlight. I think it's from his second collection. All night I stumble through deep moonlight. To the left and right of me lie greenishly naked bodies, like marble statues pulled from the sea that once drowned them in columned temples, and an anchor has severed a hand or a head with a wreath. Now I know I am a diver. I have been lowered into the depths of foolish history. Dense water resists me, seaweed plucks at me, the sunken world glimmers with the world's things askew. Victims lie around the arena, the ruined sky falls and falls into its sarcophagus. All night I stumble through deep moonlight. Greenishly naked bodies lie to the left and right of me. The chaos of a colossal order engulfs and changes me. Only tonight have I learned the unutterable truth. I shall live more cruelly and more tenderly die. And I was just absolutely so grateful to find this poet. His stuff reminds me a lot of Rilke, so if you like Rilke, you should definitely read this. This was published by Princeton. You can see the little thing there. And then finally, it's going to be a short video. I have a collection of poetry published in the 60s by Christopher Okigbo, who was friends with Wole Soyinka and Chinua Achebe. They're all from Nigeria. This guy was born in 1932 and died in 1967 while fighting in the Nigerian Civil War. And his poetry, he uses a lot of inspiration from his childhood, but this is not one of those. This is from his collection called Poems Prophesying War. This one is Come Thunder. Now that the triumphant march has entered the last street corners, remember, O dancers, the thunder among the clouds. Now that laughter broken in two hangs tremulous between the teeth, remember, O dancers, the lightning beyond the earth. The smell of blood already floats in the lavender mist of the afternoon. The death sentence lies in ambush along the corridors of power, and a great, fearful thing already tugs at the cables of the open air. A nebula heads off the pods in barren farmlands witness it. The homesteads abandoned in this century's brush fire witness it. The myriad eyes of deserted corn cobs in burning barns witness it. Magic birds with the miracle of lightning flash on their feathers. The arrows of God tremble at the gates of light. The drums of curfew pander to a dance of death. And the secret thing in its heaving threatens with iron mask the last lighted torch of the century. And I was really pleased to find this poet here. And this one's published by Africa World Press. He's really awesome. A lot of his stuff reminds you a lot of the more mythological type poems that you imagine from T.S. Eliot. So that's all I wanted to do, read some of the poems I've been enjoying lately. Let me know if you've read any of these and what you've been reading. Death is a Gang Boss.